just grinds
in
you down.
perpetuity. Yeah,
All right. Well, how come people don't seem to understand that a person wouldn't want to watch themselves? Because like, when I saw that whole bullshit, it's just like, why would you want to sit there? Because I have a theory that if you're looking at the side of your head while you're talking, it's like that Native American thing where they didn't want to get a picture. It takes a piece of your soul. There's like something that you should never do that.
Yeah. I mean, some people watch themselves and they benefit from it. And I've started to do that now too, where I've started to watch things that I'm in just because I realize that even when I watch it in retrospect, I don't like it. And I feel like I could have had a time when we were putting it together to fight for the part a little bit. Like protect your performance. Because usually before I'm like, okay, I did it. I absolve all responsibility. It's your movie. I'm going to go away now.
I like that. That's like denial.
Yeah. It's a way of coping, I think, with when it doesn't work, then then it's not my responsibility. I mean, it's lots of reasons. Is that
trauma inspired? Because that's how I go through life.
Right.
I just keep marching forward to stay, because if I slow down, like the fog of what has happened in the past catches up to me. So I just keep going, like, all right, I don't need to look at it. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, it's going to make me cringe. So.
I wish I was that way, but I'm not. I get all obsessed about a detail and go over and over again, and I'll drive myself crazy and everybody else around me crazy, asking them to explain what the thing was as opposed to just fucking watching it. But at the same time, I also came from theater where you don't get to see what it looks like extra. You're only, you're on a stage and you do it, and always at the last performance is I'm sure you feel this with stand-up. I mean, maybe not. You do it for so long, and every time you do it, it's something new, and then it just gets better and better, and you become more relaxed. There's a part where you're like, oh, I need to be over here at this part of the stage when I say that, as opposed to over there, or I was tense in this part, and now I found a way to relax. And that's what I feel about film. It's permanent. You can't go back and do it again. It's at the same time improvisational, but permanent. It's a document that lives forever.
Right.
Then you make it and you made a mistake, or you thought you were going to do something that wasn't operating. It is traumatic when you watch it and like, oh, and I can't go back and redo it. That's it. That's what it is.
Now it lives forever.
But in this also the other end, it's not about you and how you feel about it. It's about how an audience responds to it. So I try to absolve responsibility. But now
I think that's healthy.
I think so too. Suddenly it turns into this thing where people ask me about it all the time as if it's very odd. But to me, it makes sense to not watch things if you don't want to.
Not wanting to see yourself retiring, like figuring a way out of this business and just being able to sit and be quiet.
Right. Yeah.
Like stuff like that makes sense. One thing that does, as far as like with like stand up, and you doing when I watched you on Burn This on Broadway, it's the same thing where it's live, okay, and there's like no do-overs. But me, I can adjust to a screw up. I can call it out. I'm breaking the fourth wall the entire time. The entire time I'm talking to the crowd. I'm not creating this world that you guys are doing. So if there's like a mistake, it's very easily handled once you're seasoned and you're relaxed. So when you were doing that play, because this was I've always wanted to ask someone that's acted on Broadway, what happens? What do you do? Like if the other actor forgets their line and you see them in a panic looking at you, or you can, like right before you're going out, you're like, what the fuck do I say?
Yeah.
And there's this crowd there, and go. Like, there's your cue. Like how do you like what is that night? Like that first night, no matter how many times you've rehearsed it, there has to be that thought of like, what if I forget my lines? Yeah,
not so much. No, when I first did a play on Broadway, that was that terror that I was not going to memorize, know my lines. But now I don't feel that way. I feel like I know my lines and all. But that happens all the time.
Well, let's talk about the terror. So
okay.
What was that like? Did it happen?
Did it where I lost my lines?
Yeah.
No. So I remember the first play I ever did was a play called Mrs. Warren's Profession. It's a Robert Shaw play. And I was sitting backstage, and it was with Cherry Jones and Sally Hawkins. And they were acting, and there's the mic in my dressing room, or the speaker in my dressing room. And somebody said something that was funny. And for the first time, I heard a crowd that size laugh. And I was fucking terrified because it's immense, and very... deep, and I blacked out. Or I don't know if I really blacked out, but I was terrified. And then I had to go out, and I stumbled through it, and that was it. It was not a good show.
Have you ever gotten mad at yourself for choosing this profession?
All the time.
In those moments, because I do that all the time.
Yeah, it's all self-induced. No one asked me, and no one is asking for it.
That's what I was always saying. I would always be sitting there, like when I was getting called on stage, horrible crowd, or like you're gonna do Letterman, and it's freezing cold, and he doesn't look like he's in a good mood. And I'm just like, why? I'm a fucking shy person. Why did I decide to do this? This is stupid.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
But then when it's over, then you're like, you feel amazing. For like 20 minutes.
Then that's it. I always the best part of getting of jobs is the first 20 minutes when I realize I'm going to do the job. But then after that, it's just misery until it's over.
Yeah, you're like, oh fuck, now I have to go do it.
Yeah, and it has to be great, and it has to be something that was worth all the effort to get there.
Well, I got to tell you, when I saw you on that, like, dude, you came out in that play, Burn This. It was like, it was already a good play. You didn't come on, I felt, for like the first 10 minutes. Right. And when your character comes in, I think he was hammered or whatever, he's just an erratic, crazy fucking person. And you came in, and it was just like electrifying. The whole thing just was flying after that. And I'm not, I'm a comedian. So like I'm going to Broadway, and we have like, I think we confuse Cats with everything else on Broadway. So we just think it's going to be like, oh my God, I had a dream. Like, oh no, how am I going to lie to this guy afterwards and be like, oh yeah, that was fantastic. I got my little Cats doll here, and I want to be on the Great White Way. I was so like psyched. Like that's only happened 2 times.
Oh really?
Your play, and then when I first moved to LA, my neighbor across the street wrote a play and put it out up here in LA. And LA theater is not known does not have a reputation. And I was in a fucking panic, because it wasn't, not only would I have to say that I liked it after the show, the guy lived across the street from me. So like, how long could I keep the lie on my face? And fortunately, I went there and I loved it, and it was really hilarious, and it was really smart, really funny. And I was like gushing afterwards, and like most of it was my relief that, oh my God, thank God I not only did I like it, I actually loved it. And so I've gone to, that kind of opened me up, because up until then, I'd only seen like, I'd just seen like off Broadway plays.